again. Look at them pouring out of the hive. Look at all them bees. Well, hello, JW.
How are you?
I'm fine. How you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. Just you and I?
Doing okay. It's got hot here all of a sudden. We've been up close to 90 past couple of days. Supposed to be back down in the 30s here before long.
Oh, really? Well, 68 here right now, but it was about 75 today, I'd say, and cloudy.
Okay, 75. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's about right. Actually, 70s, low 70s.
Yep.
Working on we were out here over the weekend. Matt Ramsbottom was out here, and we split a bunch of his hive. However, split off, made 17 5-frame nukes.
Okay.
I got them fed today and entrance reducers put on. And then I started working on my, I've got a little old pollinator yard around my bee house. I tore it up and replanted all it today, or started replanting all of it. Hyacinths, Cosmos, Thyme, just a little pollinator yard for the bees. I'm going to plant some sunflowers, but the deer won't hardly let me get them up. They eat them off pretty badly. So.
Did you fix those nukes up to sell?
No. They're just strictly split nukes. Put them in 5-frame wood boxes. We'll grow them up into, transfer them into 8s probably, maybe 10s, but probably 8s. I'm going about all 8-frame stuff anymore.
Okay.
I've got a few 10s left, and they'll probably wear me out because I was trying to wear the boxes out, and that's probably not going to happen in my lifetime. I'm stuck with using them. I hate to.
With all those nukes, how many does that put you at right now?
I'm at 83 as of today.
Lord. That's a lot of work, JW.
Yeah, I'll drop one. I'll have one for every year.
Yeah. Okay. That's kind of backwards from what most people would do, but that sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, I need to, seriously. It's not a full-time job, but it gives me something to do. I mean, I don't mind it any way whatsoever.
Oh yeah.
I'm a lot better off if I stay busy. I try to work 7 days a week. I'll rest. I try to work, honestly. 6 days. I try to take the Sundays off usually and loaf. But other than that, I work every day. I have to get everything done. It takes me about 3 times as long as it used to do anything.
Yeah, I can still get a lot of work done, but it does take a little bit longer than it used to.
Yeah.
Or maybe I just let it take longer. I used to not take as many breaks as I do now.
Yeah.
But it happens. There's Jerry. Hey Jerry, how you doing? That's my new Hives for Heroes.
Oh, you got a new Minty?
Yeah. Yeah, he's already got a good understanding of the deal. I'm just kind of his consultant. So
good deal.
Yeah. Well, hello everybody over in the chat. It's good to see everybody. Hope y'all are doing well. You got any questions or comments or what's going on in your neck of the woods? Type it over there, and I'll try to pick it up and we'll talk about it. But things are going pretty good here. We got a flow going on. It's not the main flow, but it's the early flow. I went through all my hives early this week, I guess Monday, Tuesday, looking for swarm cells, splitting brood. I put a video came out today, I believe, kind of showed what I was up to. Went through all of them, only found one cat queen swarm cell in one hive, and I went ahead and split that one, but the rest of them are looking good. They're big and building up, and look like the timing is going to be pretty good for the flow. So we shall see. The tulip poplars are leafing out. I get my binoculars out on the deck, looking up in the trees. You ever do that, JW? See what? Yeah, I get out. Looks like I'm bird watching, but I don't want to see the birds. I'm looking for leaves and blooms and buds and see if there's any critters flying around in the tops of the trees. So, oh well, I guess I'm a geek.
No, that's nothing wrong with it. I just never done it. I do a lot of tree watching, see what's going on. We're just busting out. Our trees are about like the bees. They're busting out. Everything's is flowering and blooming. All of our fruit trees, cherries, apples, pears, all the fruit trees are flowering or in the process of flowering, pretty much flowered out. All popped out in the last 2 or 3 days. I've got lots of, we don't have tulip poplar right here, Keith.
Yeah.
There's a few trees you'll see. I only actually know in my area, where there's 4 tulip poplars that's wild, so to speak,
really?
Have been planted. Yeah. And you get 50 mile east over in, I'm 25 mile from the Indiana line. I'm in southeastern Illinois, but I'm 25 miles from Indiana. And you get over in southern Indiana, start across there, you run into a lot of tulip poplar, probably within 40 mile east, but there's none right in my area. So
yeah, we have Lord, we have a bazillion of them around here.
Yeah.
So that's it hits big time, and it hits hard whenever it does bloom around here. So I got to be ready for it. I went. I've already got a couple of supers on some of my biggest hives. They're already putting away some honey, but I got to be ready when it hits. I don't want to miss any of it. So
I pulled some supers out today. I had them, to let them start airing out. I'm sure I'm going to have to stick some on. I'm going to start doing what you did. Look at it. Bottom of the top boxes, see if I got any swarm cells. I could use a few cells. I'd stick some of them in those nukes we made, because we just letting them make their own queens. So, but I checked them today. We hived them the day before yesterday.
Yeah.
And I checked them today and put feed. But about one though. I don't know, not quite 1-to-1 on the sugar water and for feed for them. So I put quart jars on all of them today. When I transfer them into 8 frames, I'll feed them gallon buckets. But I'm right now just putting on jars on the 5 frame nukes. So.
Yeah, I don't have but one 8 frame hive, but it's actually been my biggest honey producer before. So you can definitely still make a lot of honey with an 8 frame.
Yeah.
So I've got one. I'm fixing up a couple for one of the ladies that I help. I've got a couple of splits I did from brood from another person that I'm getting going, that I'm going to put in those 8 frame boxes for her, get her back in business. So definitely nothing wrong with that. You mentioned fruit trees. I talked to a friend of mine Wednesday. Comes to the farmer's market, sells lots of plums, peaches, and apples. Mm-hmm. And that cold snap we had a few weeks ago, the frost freeze, totally wiped out all of her plums and most of her peaches. So she ain't gonna have anything but some apples later in the year.
Well, that's unfortunate. That happens on occasion in this country.
Yeah. She's, I guess, one county south and one county to the west of me. So she's up just a little bit closer to the mountains, and she said it really it hit all of the orchards up that way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bad deal.
Some of the early bloomers here, I'm having a senior moment, real common. Early flowering trees here, they got burnt pretty good, but it didn't completely kill them all. They're magnolias, and then star magnolias. One of my sons got one in his backyard, and every year he loses the blossoms off of it. We always get a late March, pretty good cold spell now.
Yeah.
Can't stand much coldness. Magnolias.
So the title of my chat tonight, I said, "Are we there yet?" No. And where there is, I guess that depends on where you think you're going or where you think you are. Are you kind of where you want to be, JW?
I'm way past there. I think where I really want to be.
So you've
ideally, I'd like to stay about 30, honestly.
Oh Lord, yeah, you're an overachiever. There's a big difference between 30 and 80.
Yeah, big difference. Yeah. Like I said, as of today, I've got 83. So.
Okay. Now, have you caught any swarms yet, or is it too early for you?
I don't swarm trap.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely do not. I've got probably, I've probably got between 15 and 20 boxes. Matt took some out to his place, and he's got them out, I think. But I haven't swarm trapped in the last 3 years. I don't need them. I don't want them. So.
Well, the way you're building up colonies, I thought you might want a few swarms.
No, I don't need them. I get enough out of my own stuff. I did last year. Don't ask me why. I've kind of forgot, and I've got it wrote down someplace. I either had 15 or 17 swarms out of my own bee yards last year, and that was more than I've had in the previous 10 years. Don't ask me why. Actually, Tom and Melissa come out here and took pulled them, several of them down. I don't remember. He was building nukes out of them. I said, I want them to, you come out here, and I think I've kind of forgot. I think they took, and I don't want to be lying about it, I think they took 27, pulled up 27 nukes out of my hives last year, and I had more swarms than I'd had in the previous 10 put together.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the deal was, but I solved that problem. I bought a 65-foot high lift. They're going to have to get off a hive and get away from me if I can get my high lift. The only thing about the high lift is it's pretty heavy, but that happens to be soft. You can't get it every place. It weighs 21,000 pounds, so.
Yeah.
But I hope not to have to be after too many swarms this year. We'll see what happens. I'm trying to get them drawn back and keep them under control. I thought I had them under control last year. I'd popping those hives open when they'd swarm. You wouldn't see. I don't know why. God's name. You just didn't.
Yeah, I remember now you having so much trouble, and you really didn't know what you had done different.
Actually, did more reductions by them taking nukes. They took them, made nukes to sell out of them. But I didn't want them. I was trying to keep my hives drawn down so I wouldn't have to split them. I still had all kinds of swarms.
Yeah. I see Bruce popped in the chat. Hey, Bruce, how you doing? Yeah, I haven't. I had a lot of scouts flying around most of my boxes today, but I hadn't caught a swarm or had a swarm yet. A lot of my friends around here have already caught some swarms, but I guess it's kind of a two-edged sword. If I don't have any swarms and I don't catch any swarms, that kind of tells me that my swarms I caught in the past was all mine. But so we'll see.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Mark's asking on my. Yeah, I've used it quite extensively, Mark. It's an old timer already. It's been through about 1,200 pieces already.
Wow.
So
you probably get pretty good at it.
Well, I had one that I've had for years, and I bought one of the Jed Thorne ones this spring. I really like it. It's handy. It's more user friendly, so to speak, ergonomically correct, more correct than my old one was. But we went through. Matt Ramsbottom came out here, him and another young beekeeper, and then we did between the three of us, and I did several for Mark Miller.
Yeah.
Mark came out yesterday. I did 50 honey supers, 10 frame honey supers for Mark. He came up and picked them up yesterday. He's about 3.5, 4 hours from me. So he picked them up yesterday. Had a real nice visit with him and one of his neighbors, Dwayne. Having a senior moment, can't think of Dwayne's last name right offhand, but it's Mark Miller's neighbor, and they were up and spent about a half a day with me. They come up and picked up Mark's. They offered to help me split some hives, but I didn't take them up on it. I said, "You guys, you're up here to visit. You're not up here to work." So.
Had you done wax dipping before you bought that new equipment, or did you learn from scratch here when you got the equipment?
No, I've been doing it for probably 15 years.
Oh, okay.
This is mine. I've been through 3 different tanks.
Okay.
But I've still got my last usable old tank. And so when we were out here, when Matt ran the old tank and I ran the new one, where weekend before last, we run through, about 700 or 800 pieces. And I did some more I've got some Amish friends that I did about 60 or 70 pieces for. And then I did 50 more pieces for Mark. And I had about 40 odds and, maybe 60 odds and end pieces, bottom boards, individual top boards and stuff, migratory top boards and stuff. But I wax dip all that stuff. I hate to paint, so I was a wax dipper before wax dipper was even hardly done.
Okay.
People didn't do it very much. Most people still painted.
You see this question here Jeremy's got up about taking his candy boards that have a top entrance. Will the bees learn to use the bottom entrance again? Oh yeah, they'll figure it out.
Oh yes.
It might take them a day or two, but they'll get back in there. No problem.
Yeah.
Well, dipping that many pieces, that sounds like that takes quite a bit of wax. Does it actually?
Not as much you might think. I'm going to say, I don't keep track of stuff like that. I get asked that a lot, Keith, and I'm not trying to be evasive. I just don't keep track. I'm going to say, Randy Souther down there, he probably keeps better track than I do. He bought one of them last year, and he's been doing it, for other folks. He can probably tell you more. I'm going to say I probably went through maybe 100 pounds,
Okay.
and the two dip tanks over not this past weekend, but the previous weekend when we did about all that stuff.
Now, do all the dippers have their secret recipe for their wax, or is there something pretty standard?
I used to buy all mine. There's an outfit it's called Aztec. They're in Knoxville, Tennessee. I bought all my wax. They've got you got your standard kind of a paraffin wax, plus you have that crystalline solution is what makes it cook in and penetrate the wood where it lasts a long time. And I used to run it about 50-50, but there's a new, it's called Hive Guard. It's made in Canada, or it's processed in Canada. And it's this new tank I bought. It takes about $800 worth of wax to fill the tank. The tank will hold about 700 pounds, and it's pretty expensive, So
yeah.
The wax is, but it's already. I honestly don't know the formula. Randy might have checked into it enough to know if he's on here, he might know the ratio of what it is, but it's pre-mixed, and it use wise it appears to be about like my 50-50 solution that I'm mixed on my own. I'd buy the crystalline in blocks, and comes in 5-pound blocks. Is what there's 50 pounds in a box of it, where most of it's packaged. And this Hive Guard's packaged that way also. But I know the actual percentile of the crystalline to the regular wax? No, I do not. It's pre-mixed.
Mark had a question there.
I boil them at 300 degrees for 10 to 15 minutes. Depends on.
Okay.
Is what I'm using on this new stuff. My older overburner, I used to do them for 20 or 25 minutes, and I didn't run them quite as hot because I have trouble. What you got to watch, this new unit's got an overflow deal where I can catch it in a bucket if it overflows. If you get high moisture wood, boxes that's got quite a bit of moisture in them, that's hot enough that water boils out of there, and it'll boil over if you don't watch it. So, like I said, a lot of the it depends on how long you cook them as to, you get some wood, you'll find out if it's been a real humid time or if we had a lot of rain, that wood will actually, even from the relative humidity in the air, I guess, will absorb more moisture, and it's more apt to boil over. My old tank, I didn't have a catch of it. If it boiled over the side, it was out on the ground, and I had it on concrete, but it's hard to scrape up and keep clean that way. So I didn't run it quite as hot. The ones that I run on my old tank, I'd run it about 250 to 280, depending on the conditions. And this new tank, I keep it on 300, and I run it for 10 to 12 minutes, 15 on if it looks like it needs it.
Okay.
So, I'm not saying that's right. I'm just telling you, what I do.
Right. Well, it must work pretty good for you.
Well, I've done a lot of it over the years. It'd been the thousands, that I've done. I never did do it commercially for other people. I just friends and fellow beekeepers around the country.
Right.
I've done it for several years.
Well, if anybody in the chat wants to pop on in, be my guest. The link's pinned over. Oh, mine is showing it's pinned at the bottom. It usually pins at the top, so I'm not really sure where it's showing up on.
I think it showed up on the top of mine.
Okay, it's showing up on the bottom of mine. So as long as it's there somewhere. But okay, Mark said it's at the top, so I don't know why it's showing the bottom. That's crazy. Anyway,
yeah, I thought mine was when I popped on here.
So when does your flow pick up and everything start getting exciting out your way, JW?
Right now.
Okay, so you're going on now.
Yeah, I've got 3. I'm gonna say the maple's about over here, Keith.
Yeah, our maple's about gone here.
Or just I've got some. My maples, it'll vary. Their actual flowering time will vary from about 3 weeks from the times the first ones start to the last months start. But I'm still drawing some maple pollen, but not. I'm probably in the 3rd week, if you understand what I'm saying. And the last one's blooming now. I've got maple, got gobs of dandelion, got lots of dead nettle in bit, and I'm getting some. I think it's. I get some. Believe it or not, I get some cedar. Bees are bringing some cedar pollen, red cedar around here, and I'll get some of that. So I've got a pink pollen coming in right now, making bee bread. I've got an orange, which is the dandelion. The pink's the dead nettle, and your maple is kind of I've got a bright yellow that I'm not for sure what it is right now, and then I've got a kind of a grayish yellow, which is the tail end of the maple flow. I've had maple as far as that, and there's various nectar sources. I don't know just what they all are, but I know I've got a lot of nectar in my hives. If I pick up my boxes, I can tell they're making honey.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, but I haven't really. I plan to start, but they're talking heavy rain, and then it's actually raining off and on here right now. So I was going to really start digging deep in my hives, and I do mostly vertical splits, mostly double screen boards, and I'll do a few. I wouldn't call them dim rays. I'll split them with the queen excluder,
Yeah.
And go off and pull them off, and if I've got cells in the hives, swarm cells, I'll use them, pull them out, put them in do some splits, and I've got horizontal hive that I'll pull a couple splits out of. I feel like I'm starting to get hoarse. I may lose my voice on you.
Too much public speaking.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't do that other than on these chats. A little bit.
Yeah, what Larimore says there about all the different colors of pollen and how they store it in the frame. That is always amazing to see when you pop a frame and it's looks like a paint set or a box of crayons. Looking at it, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I've got 4 different colors coming in right now. And they're working hard and they're going at it, so I seem to be real happy. We built them nukes, them 17 nukes, Tuesdays when it was. That was out here. And I didn't get a sting. I got a few stings today. I didn't have on anything but a veil and a pair of shorts and a t-shirt, and I took about 6 or 8 stings on my hands. And I had to change some telescopic covers. I had some of them that we stuck on there real quick when we was building them nukes. It didn't have feeder holes in them. I had to change them out. They'd already started building comb on the top boards, the migratory covers.
Wow.
That was from,
Kevin there said he been playing with an Apame pollen trap. Got 5 grams in 24 hours. I had never messed with a pollen trap. Is that something you've done?
Nope. I've got some Apame bottom boards on some of my hives, but I take the pollen traps out of them. I don't mess with it.
Yeah, sometimes I think the pollen traps might be a good thing. They seem to, at certain points, they seem to bring in a whole lot more than they can use, and then that old pollen, it just gets in the way after a while because you can't really. I ain't had much luck using it, storing it, and using it the next year. They don't seem to care much for it. They like the new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that might not be a bad idea. So you got one there from Taco Bell. No, I don't use migratory covers. I use regular telescoping covers on all my stuff because I don't move them around. I don't transport them, and they're not on pallets. So regular covers work just fine.
I'm crazy enough. I use telescopic covers in the summertime or in the wintertime, and migratories in the summer because I do a lot of feeding in the summer months, and then in the winter I use feeder shims and mostly fondant. So I put on telescopic covers in the fall, late fall, usually about the 1st November. There comes my mentee.
Hey, Tom.
Hey there. How's it going, guys?
It's going good. How are you?
Pretty good.
Thanks for popping in.
Yes, sir. Just got home a few minutes ago.
I'm sure it's a busy time of the year for you.
It's really busy, that's for sure. That's okay. We can handle the pressure.
Between the landscaping and the bees.
Yeah, it's definitely the seasons come in like a lion. Both of them do it at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So focus on making money and making money. And then trying to get JW to mentor me is difficult to do because he tells me no. So
very
for a new
mentor. When did you get home? You're not too awful busy. You've been a week or two in Colorado, didn't you?
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have left, but I did anyway. And that's that. You only live once, right?
Well,
you sent back some pretty shots from out there.
It was pretty gorgeous out there, that's for sure. There's pros and cons from the climates in Colorado and here. I would say for the most part, like Denver, roughly running about a mile high. Their climates are really similar to St. Louis. It is not that. Well, look at this guy.
There's old Grandpa B.
What's up, G-Paw?
What's happening?
Looking pretty dapper tonight.
Well, I had to get myself cleaned up today. I had to look official.
Why is that? Seen the grandbaby?
Oh, I've seen him almost every day.
That's cool.
Yeah. Now I had to go into the hospital, and I had to pee in a cup.
Uh-oh. Hey, don't do drugs, kids.
Exactly. Yes.
Don't do drugs.
Yeah.
Did you get your water troubles figured out from yesterday?
It's drying. It's drying.
No, what was it that happened with that?
So I checked today actually because I was texting somebody that's in the chat here, and you guys can probably figure out who that is because Keith, I didn't text you, and JW, I don't think I text you. So that narrows it down. I was looking at the amount of rain that we've had in this area in the last month, and so yesterday we had 1.24 something like that inches. But overall in the last month we've had 8.97 inches of rain up here.
Wow.
So like everything is flooded. There's roads that are a couple minutes away, like pretty good sized roads that they were shut down at some point yesterday evening to like today at the 12 noon news, like they were still shut down because they were flooded underwater. So it was just so much water that came down that where our drains go, I think there was debris or something that got into the main lines and ended up plugging stuff up because it was backing up from the drain into our basement. And it could have been a lot worse. Let's just say that it could have been a heck of a lot worse. I mean, it was just a little bit of water, but it's still a pain in the neck. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. But we keep a lot of stuff in the basement, and it's just starting to rain again. Son of a, I'm telling you. But
we could use a little of that.
Oh, not up here. It's just been nonstop up here. We keep a lot of stuff in totes. So, I mean, like, I don't think really the biggest pain of it all is just going to be moving stuff to dry underneath and just let stuff dry, and that'll probably be the biggest headache of it all. But and then I mean, like, we keep some area rugs down there that those things are going to have to be dried out, but we have a carpet cleaner too, so we can run that through it and try and suck moisture, and it's just a pain in the neck. I mean, just overall, it's just a pain in the neck when stuff like that happens. So,
well, being you had a few other things going on at the time,
I'll tell you what, in the last 11 days, it's been boom, 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 just, so we had not to get into the whole stories, but we had a tax debacle that was not our doing. Our taxes got sent to the wrong person. So that's bank routing, socials, employers, everything. So that was last Monday. I was dealing with that. And then stuff busted in the house. And then Tuesday, my daughter-in-law, her water broke. She was not due until May 14th. And her water broke. They called me up. And I'm not quite sure how to help you with that. My Alexa talking in the other room. That thing just needs to zip it. But my son calls me last Tuesday and he says, "Dad, Sophia is leaking." And I said, "Back up there a second." I said, "She's leaking what?" And, it's like, "Can you clarify that?" So he said, "Well, let me go get Sophia." I said, "Sophia, what's going on?" She said she was at church and just got done with, I think one of the women's groups or something. And she said when she stood up, she felt this gush. And I said, "Well, Sophia, what you're going to do is you're going to get your shoes on and you're going to go straight to the ER. You're not going to pass go. You're not going to pass Dunkin' or Starbucks. You're straight to the ER." So we had that. They were trying to hold off just, because she was only 33 weeks. So it ended up then Sunday. I was just actually editing the video that hopefully I'm going to get out tomorrow. But this past Sunday, baby was born, all healthy. I was actually very surprised. He was 4 pounds and a couple ounces. He spent 3 days in the NICU, and they already transferred him to an intermediate, like step down type unit. They said he didn't need to be in the NICU anymore. He, he's doing good. He just has to get the hang of eating. But, when you're 33, he's 34 weeks as of today. When you're 34 weeks old, you're not I was talking to my son, you're not meant to be eating on your own. You're meant to be hooked up to mama still. So, reflexes and things like that aren't quite all developed, but he's doing good. He did his initial drop down a little bit in weight, but he's already started to pick back up. So that's good. But yeah, I mean, it's been busy here in the last 11 days. So
yeah, it sounds like it nonstop.
Yeah, things are I think normalizing. He's kind of good. So and they only allow a certain number of visitors at a time. So, like I was talking to Sophia today, and I told her, I said, I'll probably be up over the weekend. I don't know which day, but like I don't want to go up tomorrow. Just with limited visitors. I don't want to go up there and hog up a bunch of time when other people, want to stop in and see him as well. So, but the little dude is good. She is home already, so that's good. Yeah. So busy. And now tomorrow I got to go, and I've already been questioned by people that have said, "Why are you getting packages of bees?" And I was, and Tom, don't say nothing here. And JW, he's just going to sit up there quiet and watch for Tom to comment. But if this makes me not as much the hobbyist, and you'll say, "Yep, you're a closet sideliner," I got thinking in my head. I'm like, if I split 4 colonies. That's 4 colonies that I will not demoray, so that's less honey production. Or I get 4 packages, and then I demoray 4 extra colonies. For the cost of the packages, I have to get, 40 pounds of honey? And I'm like, to demoray 4 extra colonies, guaranteed I'm going to get, you figure that's 10 extra pounds honey per colony. So I rolled the dice, and I'm saying, you know what? I'm going to throw packages in there. That's easy. And then I'm going to demoray more. So
I know who you can talk to about that.
Oh, and there's a couple people. DC
one guy is the king of demoray.
Who's that?
Sawmill Charlie.
Oh yeah, yep. I've messaged him.
All you have to do is, if anybody wants to get a hold of Charlie, you just type in any comment section, Sawmill 10, and he pops up. Poof.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
That? Sawmill 10. Poof.
Yeah.
It's like clicking your heels like Dorothy.
Oh yeah, I know. No, I know. I've chatted with Charlie a little bit about it, but that's kind of like what I was thinking though. Now I'm hoping, like up here, we have not had much in bloom already. The trees are literally just starting.
Mm-hmm.
So with the rain that we've had, I'm hoping that we end up with a decent spring flow. I hope. We've got 2 nights here. I think Monday, Sunday night going into Monday, I think we're supposed to dip down to 27. So I got to run. I'm going to end up, probably when I'm over there for Easter, I'm going to end up flipping buckets again. It's just the nonstop. It seems like I've flipped buckets and taken buckets off more than I have in the last 2 years. From, just from the nighttime dips, I try and feed them in the day. I'll get the buckets flipped, that way they don't get cold. But that's going to be it then. Like we've, right now, today we hit 78 degrees. Mm-hmm. So the bees are going absolutely nuts. And like when I checked them last Sunday, I mean, we had like, because I've got the deep and medium, I was just pulling out some medium frames just to check that top box and brood. I mean, 4, 5, 6 frames brood across the tops. And like there were good solid circles, 4 to 6 inch or so areas where it was just drone. So no walking drones yet. So we're still, I figure we're probably 3 or 4 weeks away from making any moves in that direction. But with this moisture that we have here, I'm thinking that this spring is going to be a busy one.
Yeah, hopefully continues for a little while for you and can build up some ground moisture. You know, too many hard, heavy rains just runs off into the creeks and on down the river. But slow and steadies are what build up the ground moisture. And I'll tell you, I don't know about you, Brian. Here in St. Louis, we only had 3 plowable snows. Now, one of them was pretty significant, and it was probably one we get about every 10 years or so. Pretty significant, 9 to 10 inches.
Come up here.
A little bit more than that. But I'll tell you, one place that has not gotten a lot of snow, and this is extremely concerning for the entire West Coast, is all the mountains and high elevations of Colorado.
Yeah.
Holy cow. If you guys looked at if anybody's friends with me here on Facebook, I posted a couple different times along the 12,000 foot, I think it's called Loveland Pass. And then also up at Pikes Peak, which is a little bit south of there. And that was about 13,000 feet. And I'm telling you, there's not much snow up there. And it's pretty concerning because that means reservoirs are empty and they're going into spring with low water levels. So Brian was telling me they're already, I don't remember, can probably can comment to this. There's a certain different levels of water conservation that they implement. And right now they're on the first one, and it's springtime, for crying out loud. So hopefully, now again, it wouldn't be good to get heavy rains out there because then you get mudslides out there in the mountains. So slow and steadies would be extremely important for them. But interestingly enough too, Denver, Colorado, and the area surrounding it is actually about, now I went through about, I don't know, maybe 20 something colonies, 30 colonies today that I have to move probably tomorrow morning early. And I'm saying he's probably a good 10 days ahead of me. He was on a pretty strong nectar flow out there, almost to the point of them plugging out the nest. And he had added third deeps to some colonies 10 days before I had gotten out there. And they had pretty much built out comb and filled a majority of them up.
Wow.
So Brian and I were able to do a lot of splits on 2 of his yards. And actually, I think split almost, not quite, but almost every colony in those 2 yards that he had. So hopefully he'll have enough for a little bit of increase, and then the nukes that he's selling and such. So that's I was actually kind of sweating bullets just a little bit, honestly, because I'm like, I told him I probably shouldn't have come out here with you to Colorado. I'm like, I should probably be home working now. When I went through a bunch today, like I said, they're not quite as far along. So that I was kind of glad for that, honestly. So it buys me a little bit of time. There's nothing like being reactive on a honeybee colony. I can tell you, you will spend twice as much time trying to get colonies out of the swarm mode as you will preventing it. So, just food for thought, folks. Keep the colonies out of swarm mode, and you will spend less time managing the colonies.
I just in prior years, I said I'd never do this. You know, you could go back in the years and you could listen, and I'm like, nope, I don't like messing with those. But I actually put up my first swarm trap today.
Woohoo!
Going to put up another 1 or 2 in other spots. So I'm looking at it all. I seriously think that, like, I need to step back and just be a hobbyist, because I'm looking, I have numbers in my head, and I'm like, okay, well, if I want to do this and this and this and get this as far as a crop, I need to have this and this. So I'm like, if I can catch 1 or 2 swarms just so that I don't have to split to replace numbers, I'm like looking at all that. I've got like these numbers and stuff bouncing in my head now. You know, it's just like a little bit ago, we had a number in our head. It was called Sawmill 10, and poof, here it is.
No, it was.
That was amazing.
Put
Yeah.
Magic Dragon. He just popped up, didn't he? Right.
Somebody clicked their heels and it
Yeah.
worked.
Yeah.
Hey, Charlie, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Not bad. Doing even better. I don't have to go to a court duty tomorrow.
I
that's a
knew
good thing.
Charlie. Gosh darn it, you gotta. If you stay busy with those bees, you'll keep yourself out of trouble. Okay, you're gonna quit speeding, running the stoplights, and all that jazz.
Well, I heard this story about some crazy guy over around the East Coast driving, and when he got pulled over, when they finally got the spike strips and everything down and got the vehicle stopped, he was heard saying, "Do you know who I am? I am the legend." So, and then the videotapes and the choppers and that cut off. So I don't know what all happened.
I need to see that video.
Yeah.
We can send that through AI a bunch of different directions, come up with something really cool.
That would be pretty cool.
Last thing he was heard, he was saying, "I know JW."
That's funny. That's good.
Yeah, that'll get you a lot of places, mostly jail.
If it's around the Midwest, it'll probably get them locked up for a day or two.
That's funny stuff.
Yeah, what you were saying there, Tom, about a lot of nectar in the brood box. I turned the video loose today, and that's exactly what I found here when I did inspections Monday and Tuesday. A whole lot of nectar in my brood boxes that I pulled up into the supers. So and put some comb in place of it to give the queen somewhere to lay. But that's something folks need to be looking for. I don't know if that's, I don't remember having that last year, not to the degree I saw it earlier this week. So I don't really know why, but that might be something folks need to look for. Make sure they're not getting plugged out early in the season.
What I just now heard is that instead of Keith harvesting 22 times this year, he's probably going to harvest 31 times.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It ain't honey till it's in the bucket. So
yeah. Did you guys see? Let me see. Let me see if I got a picture. I know I got this picture here. I got to show him. Oh, look at that.
Boy,
that little guy has got a head full of hair.
Oh, I'm telling you. Yeah. He had a mohawk. Where's the picture? Now, oh man. Look at the little mohawk.
And he's got a smile on his face too.
Oh yeah.
Love it, man.
That's my dude right there.
Hey,
so this is first Grand Union.
You guys are going to be out there fishing, riding dirt bikes, and all kinds of cool stuff.
Oh yeah. Look at that right there. See?
Uh-oh. I see that. I seen that picture.
Yeah.
Looks like a larger centrifuge.
Yes. Yeah. It so let me tell you, I couldn't go any larger than that because that thing there barely fit through the doorway.
You just need a bigger door, that's all.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'd have to cut the wall out. But yeah.
No problem. Just chainsaw.
I'm making moves. So DC says, back up, Brian. What did you get? I now have a 20 frame extractor, DC.
He needed that the last time he bought the last extractor.
I did. Yeah.
I will have to say your honey house is on the small side.
It is.
On the videos.
It is, but so the problem that I've had there is I have a lot of equipment, and in the last, like when the die-off happened, I was at one point, I was at, I don't know, 21 or 22 colonies that I had out. And then when I was down to 3 starting last year, you figure all those boxes, they got to sit somewhere. So, I had umpteen boxes stacked up there. So it's going good now. I mean, like the honey house now, I need to get those infinity frames out into the yard is what I need to do, because I've got like 16 boxes of those infinity frames sitting there. Plus, other stuff. So once the season, so to say, picks up, I can get those infinity frames out. I can get my supers out. I plan on having 30 or so supers out. So that'll empty out, what I have until I've got to store it all again. But I need to redo that room, though. That room that I have there, the issue there, Charlie, is how that room was set up originally. It was a chicken coop. It was an addition onto a garage that my mom had it split. So the front half she just had for whatever. The back half was where her chickens would go in. So in the middle of that room, there's a dividing wall with chicken wire. And there's a door there, but it splits the room. So I need to go over, like, before I do like my final placement, I need to get that wall out of there. I'm going to pull the chicken wire off, and then I probably will just take my chainsaw and just, cut those boards out. And then I do need to look at best placement. Like, do I build a rack and put it on the wall, for my frames? Because I've got those couple frame racks. I just need to look and see what is best, because I do want to get some things, instead of sitting in the middle, I want to put it out on the walls. So, and then that'll free up, like, for the extractor. I do need to look at things. I've got my uncapping tank, and I got that heated roller uncapper now as well. So I want to get that stuff all staged so that just it works efficiently, But we'll see. I mean, that'll be a project. I don't know. It's got to be probably in the next month. But
how's your weather been over there? Is it kind of roller coaster?
Yeah. I mean, our temps. We are. So today we hit almost 80. I think we were 78. Tomorrow's 76. Saturday 82, and then Sunday night high of 48 with a low of 32. Monday 49, low of 28. They're actually calling for flurries Monday to Tuesday.
Really?
Tuesday, then they're saying high of 38, low of 24. And then after that, we go back up into the 60s and 70s. So after that little kind of cold spell that we're going to get into there, I think we're going to be good, because we'll be Wednesday, then 61, and then we've got high of 74, 73, 76, 71, 64, 64,
yeah.
64.
Right now it's 44 degrees at night. And it was raining. That we needed the rain, but I went from about 80 degrees all the way down around 50. And now it's down in the 40s. Of course, the rain made it, the rain even. I had by this afternoon, about mid-afternoon, I put my heavy winter coat back on.
Oh, wow.
I don't know, because it was mist and rain and, bad. But I think next week somebody was telling me that we're going to be in the 70s for the majority of the week, I'll say. And all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I got that unit. I'll show it when I do my extraction. We only I don't even know whether this is a like negative issue with it. From people that I talked to that had that unit, they said that because of it being heated, it's basically like a Simple Harmony Farms. They said with the Simple Harmony, it would like tear a lot. So you would get a lot of cappings in your wax, or a lot of cappings in your honey. they said with this unit, since it's heated, it more just kind of like glides through. So they said if you're the type of person that you want a lot of cappings so that you do like candles or balms or whatever like that, they said you don't get it with this unit. And I hate messing with wax. So I told him, I said, that's win-win for me. Now we'll see. I know the initial units, a lot of people, they said there were issues with like heating elements and all that stuff, but that was all kind of tweaked. I got one of the newer models, I guess, and they said that they've really honed in on like the heating of it. So yeah, that is like in my whole operation over there, that is like the bane of my entire extracting process, is having to deal with them forks and uncapped frames. I despise it worth everything.
What are you using on capping forks?
Yeah. I had one of those like kind of like planer things that takes the wax. And then, of course, those things, they always plug up. So you got to sit there and mess with them. And then I've also got the little forks also.
Yeah, but did you have like a heated uncapping knife or a heating unplaner? Or...
I had a knife before, and to be honest, Charlie, I didn't like it.
I use a Maxant. Well, I bought a guy out years ago, and he had a Maxant heated plane. And now you're supposed to, the way I've seen the videos, you're supposed to go the length of the frame, but I actually go across the frame. So if there's a divot, the way the wax might be a wave, I actually can go with the wave across, and it cuts the wax off about the thickness of a piece of paper towel. So it was working for me for now.
Yeah.
If I could get them all built up, then I'd have something like Tom's got with an automatic uncapping machine. But
yeah,
that's never going to happen.
Well, I'll tell you, this unit here, I mean, I'll see how it does, and then I can let you know. Look at this. Look at Tom's getting funny here. I'll let you know, because I just with going to the number of colonies that I want for honey, I could not see myself staying with that 9-frame extractor. It would have been a nightmare.
No.
And Charlie, you're right. I should have 4 years ago, when I got that thing, I should have gotten double the size. Lesson learned. It's okay.
There's one thing about it though. I mean, if you're serious about if you know where you want to go and you're serious about getting there,
yeah,
it's fine. You should have got the 20 or the 18 or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you're not sure,
yeah,
then
that's the thing with me. I wasn't sure. Now, what's really driven my decisions as of late, I know in my head like the number of markets that I want to do, and I have a number that I need to meet to supply the customers.
Yep.
So that's driven all of my decisions. That I know what I
know. It's like you're not you're not the backyard beekeeper. You're the small sideliner, and that's what I am. I'm a small sideliner.
Charlie, you watch that talk.
Yeah,
I'm a heavy hobby.
If you're going to have 18 or 20 some hives, and you need 1,500 pounds of honey in order to do your markets or whatever, and that's going to keep on going up and up and up.
Yeah.
Then you're going to have to start buying some honey.
Yeah, I've actually turned down a handful of markets also, just from people in the area. They're starting to learn my name, and I get people that call me up or they'll message me in social media and say, hey, we'd love for you to be able to come to our market. And I just, I turned one down the other day. I told them, I said, they have one this month, and then there's another one in May. And I told them, I said, look, I've got 21 pounds of honey right now left in jars. I can't quite do a market with, and they're in half-pound jars. I've got 42 half-pound jars. I said I can't quite show up to a market with no hot honey, no vanilla honey that I do, no bears, no. I said it just, it would be a waste of time for me.
Let me say this, as I gave somebody else some advice about that. When you're doing hot honey, creamed honey, all your, I don't call that adulterated honey, but you're mixing stuff in the honey. There's where you keep your own honey for the running honey part of the sale, and you buy some reputable honey to make your creamed and all the other stuff out of it.
Yeah. I mean, I never thought about that, but I mean, it does make sense.
There's some other folks on the chats here that I said, they didn't have enough coming in themselves. I said, well, keep that all for your running honey. Go out and buy your buckets of honey. You're going to put flavoring in it. You're going to cream it. You're going to put flavoring in it. You're going to do all these things to it. You're going to make hot honey out of it. Is it going to taste like? It's never going to taste. It's going to taste on what you're going to put in it.
Right.
So that way you separate, and then you have enough.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, I guess that does make sense, but we'll see. I mean, I'm not slated right now. I'm good until July. July will be my first market now that I do. So, and then after that, it'll be July, August, September, October, November, December. Like I'll be each month at markets. I'll be good, So the honey money that I had, and then from selling I sold 2 extractors actually. I paid for that extractor and I paid for that uncapper that I got. So I'm good. I've got petty cash set so that when I do go to the market in July, I've got petty cash set, for change. I'm good. I just need to get there now. So, and I'll tell you, if my area can get all out hammered by the lantern flies this year, I would not be upset. I wouldn't. I would not be upset.
Yeah, because I had it here 3 or 4 years ago. They hit us hard here. You couldn't walk without stomping on 6 of them at a time. And but it's like I run 3 mediums. Why? When the honey seed, the normal flow of the poplar and the locust and all that kind of stuff. When I took all that off, I put my 3rd medium back on as my top honey super. Within 2 weeks later, around the 15th of July or so, that's when lantern flies would hit us, and they filled your super up for wintertime honey. You don't have to pour sugar water into them. Now, I think the winter and the bugs and stuff have ate the bugs. You don't see them anymore much.
So listen to this one. When I was at the Tri-County show, the show in Worcester, it's the show that Michael drove up to Ohio. Mm-hmm. I was talking to this beekeeper that's down near like central Ohio, and last year she got 1,200 pounds of lantern fly honey. Okay. She had a special label on it. She made up a label specifically, it was honeydew, lantern fly, whatever. She showed me the label. I forget.
Highly medical honey.
So she only did them in 1 pound jars. Special label on them. She sold that lantern fly honey, and from 1,200 pounds, a couple weeks ago when I talked to her, she had 1 bucket left. So 55 or so pounds, I think she had left. She sold it for $25 a pound. And she said it was gone. So I'm like, if I can get,
it's better than Manuka honey.
Oh yeah, I know.
But you got to promote that. It's
right.
Actually a higher medical value with it than Manuka honey.
Yep. So that's what I'm going to do. I mean, if I start to see They said it's like August, September. If I start to see an abnormal flow, I'll check it. And if it does, if it turns out that we'll get lanternfly honey, I'll advertise it to the hilt. And, even if I can get like, whatever, I mean, $20 a pound for it, that's a heck of a lot of cash,
Mark Zener, what's it taste like? It kind of has a barbecue taste to it.
Yeah.
It's a little funky.
I like it. I mean, personally, they say it's like a smoky barbecue. I like it. But I'm a fan of very dark fall honey also. I like buckwheat honey. I like that dark stuff. Right. Jarrett gave me, when I was down in Virginia and I stopped by Jarrett's place, he actually had a little teeny jar of buckwheat honey because he knew that I loved it. So somebody close to him had enough of it, so he got me a little jar. I all out love that stuff. So when we were at Jason Crook's, has that been probably 2.5 years ago now for the BBQ that he had?
Oh, that's been probably 3 or 4 years ago.
Was it that long ago?
Well, was it pre-COVID?
No. Maybe it's been maybe about 3.5 or so. I don't know. Yeah. But remember, Gunner, his buddy, had a jar of the lanternfly. So that's the first time that I tried it.
And the guy that was from Pennsylvania, was from 5 miles from the epicenter of where that stuff come in. I've got that bottle here still.
Oh, wow.
Somebody at Nobby had some lanternfly honey. Who was that?
Clay had some.
Oh, that was Ryan. Sourwood Farm.
Oh, I'm trying to see if I have some.
Ryan Williamson.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if you like buckwheat, that's like drinking motor oil as far as I'm concerned. It's as black as
over there.
It's like, burnt motor oil.
Yeah, the presentation for buckwheat is not very good in a jar. It looks like molasses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
blackstrap molasses.
I've got it over there, and every once in a while, I savor that stuff. I've had that jar that Jarrett gave me. I mean, that probably has been 4 years ago.
At least. And
I periodically, I'll just take a little teeny bit of it, and it's just like, oh, man, that's so good. Yeah. But now I'm like a huge fan of black licorice and that. I like that,
You like that aftertaste.
Yeah, but it's not like the everyday. I like the old school, like you'll get it Cracker Barrel and the old school candies where you get that black licorice, or at Tractor Supply they sell it. I like that those certain unique flavors like that. So when I get that dark honey, oh man, it's like the best gift I could ever get. So,
you'd love those stink bugs, and that's the flavor it's got.
No. We're not talking about stink bugs there, JW.
It's just about the same as that good old like black licorice.
No.
Yeah, honeydew from a stink bug. That would be interesting.
Just think, stink bug honey.
Oh, I'm saying.
See?
I'm telling you, that's the answer.
I wonder how you could do that with the infusion. Like, would you think for like a gallon of honey, I'd use like 75 stink bugs?
83 is what I use.
83.
I'm surprised folks are selling that much lanternfly when you actually explain to folks what it is.
Yeah, but there's somebody just told me about new bug out, but it's not invasive. It's and like an 8 foot or something like that on oak trees, or I don't know. Anyway, you'll see this black goo on the side of the trees as the bees are getting it.
Huh.
And that's what lanternfly is too. If you ever watch lanternfly, you look on the side of a tree, it's got this slime on the side of the bark.
Yeah. When I was at Jason's place last year, I drove down to his place. He like next to his certain trees, like the younger maples and things like that, where they were just polluted. Underneath of the trees, like literally the grass, it was just it had like that black mold. It was something else. I couldn't believe it. Like he'd walk me over and like on some of the trees, the leaves were solid black. And then he walked me over by this other tree and he said it doesn't affect the leaves on this one. He was like, but the grass. And I mean, it was just like that black mold growing. So, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I parked underneath some trees where they had the lanternfly was up in the trees, and it's dripping on my car like sap. And
Oh wow!
It was like, man, get out from underneath that tree. And it was hard. It was hard getting it off your car too.
Really?
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah.
Huh. Howdy, Brian.
Hey, Brian. How you doing?
Brian. Great. How are you, Keith?
Doing great. Welcome aboard.
Congrats, Grandpa.
Thank you. My little dude.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh man. I can't now, and trust me, I've already had the talk. It'll probably be about 4 years, but I will be purchasing a little teeny bee suit, and like Fred Dunn, I will have the supervisor.
Nice.
So
That's
my
awesome.
son, he already said, he and Sophia, they spoke about it. And as long as I take the precautions, get a suit and stuff like that, they're fine, so,
Yeah.
but, I can't wait for those days. So
It'll be all right for him to get stung up a little bit.
He can watch me and laugh.
He can watch you get stung up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brett Williams has got a good thing there. I mean, about you guys are getting over the honeydew and what it is. Well, we got bee puke for regular honey. Or
I mean, yeah.
Or bee spit is like what Brett Will says.
Yeah. I get people periodically at the markets that they'll want to kind of know the process. And they're like, how does a bee like collect the nectar and like where does it go in that? And I tell them, I'm like, well, there's different stomachs, so to say. There's different pouches, and they're like, well, how, like, what do they do? And I'm like, they'll spit it back up. They'll go in, they'll pass it off to one of their sister workers, and they're like, huh? And I'm like, it's regurgitated up, and then they're like, it's like vomit, and then it's like, well, I mean, if you want to say that, whatever. But I get people that want to know like those specifics, and I'm like, it's passed off, and there's enzymes that work and all this stuff, and so if people want to get into the nitty gritty, then even of regular honey, they're kind of like, I didn't know all that, and they, you'll see some people, they just get this look, and I mean, it's like, just don't be concerned with the nitty gritty, just enjoy the honey.
Yeah, I just use words like they have the honey stomachs like a little tank, and then they transfer it from each other. They don't regurgitate. Transfer is a much nicer word.
Yeah, I would say like they pass it off, and and then for the little kids, it's always funny when you tell them, well, they spit it, because then the little kids, they all.
Oh yeah, the little boys love that.
Yeah. Yeah, like boys do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But oh yeah. Brian, I hear you told Tom, you're like, Tom, if you could run to the top of that hill, I will let you do a split for me. And he was booking up there. He's like, yippee, I get to do splits.
Yeah, at one point, Tom went up. He went up the snowbank in Loveland Pass, went along the other side, and Melissa and I are like, "Yeah, we'll wait here." And Tom, you could have slid down the side of the mountain, and we would have never even known about it.
Oh man. Yeah.
But it was fun. We had a great time. We had a nice time hanging out. We
That's
got to see
good.
some nice parts of Colorado. We got to play with
That's
some
awesome.
bees. Tom, I went to those splits today at Morrison, and we didn't pull any queens from any of those. So that
Good
was
deal.
perfect. So I cut queen cells back from all of them, and I even put honey supers on all those colonies too.
Does that mean we know what we're doing?
Kind of, sorta. It's well, that's like Murphy's Law. When you remember to put the numbers on the lids, you don't need them. You know.
Yes.
That's always good. I actually had a pretty interesting event happen today. About 2 weeks ago, I went to one of my out yards to pull. I pulled 3 frames of brood to graft from. Brought them home in a 5-frame nuke. And I didn't really look for the queen because I figured if I brought the queen home with me, that's even better because then the queen I want to graft from is in my backyard. So I ended up accidentally bringing the queen back with me, grafted from it. It was fine. That was great. So today I went back to that colony because I was going to split it down. However many frames had cells on it, I was going to split separately. There is a queen in there, laying to her heart's content. And I was like, huh, what's going on here? I think it must have been like a mother-daughter situation. And I had pulled the mother that was marked, and I had seen a queen that was unmarked because there was no break in the brood at all. There's no queen cells. And they just filled in the frames that I had put in there. So that worked out pretty nice for me. That was a nice little gift today.
That's awesome.
And I hear that happens quite a bit, but I only see it once or twice.
So Brian has a really cool method, and I thought this was pretty nifty. Never did it before. Something small, but honestly, I think it was extremely beneficial. When I asked Brian how he wanted to do certain things so that I wasn't messing up his operation or his different procedures, I said, okay, what do you want to pull? How do you want to do it? What's the game plan? So we'd go over it. And then when we'd make a split, we'd take it over and put it underneath the shaded area. Because once it warmed up, much like high desert is, it tends to get a little bit sunny and warm pretty quickly. So one thing that he said is, yeah, go ahead and write on the top of that split which box number you pulled it out of, in case by some slim chance we pulled a queen, I know which colony it came out of. And I'm like, don't know why I never thought about that. But that makes perfect sense to me. So if you guys have if you're just doing 1 or 2 and you find the queen, doesn't really matter. But I think like for production numbers, I think that's extremely beneficial. In case you do pull the queen and you don't want her in there or it's a problem, you can take her back out, remove the cells, put her back in. You'd probably want to slow introduce her again, I would think, just to kind of mitigate any issues. But I thought that was really, I don't know, it was enlightening for me. It may be something simple, but, when you're trying to do things all in a production number or scale, it really makes a lot of sense.
The one thing I noticed from Tom, and it made me consider doing more, is how he used his jacket as like a toolkit. He had, like, I usually just wear a veil if the bees are going to be nice enough, and then I have shit in my pocket, and it's kind of hard to pull out sometimes. But he had like little queen catchers in his pockets. He had his queen, like his marking pen, several different ones right there. He used his jacket not just as protection against himself, but as a way to equip himself with the little things that he needed as he was going from colony to colony. It was cool watching. We both had our own styles. We kind of went at our own pace, but it was neat watching someone that you hang out with like on the chats all the time like this. We spent probably 2 days splitting bees, so it was fun. We had a good time.
It was fun. I really enjoyed myself. Yeah, I know you were like, hey, I don't want you to consume all your time doing this, that, and the other. And I'm like, no, it's only fair because you were taking time off to entertain us. And I'm like, hey, let's go out in the bee yard and get stung a little bit. I'm okay with it. So, it kind of basically got me back in the mode of splitting, So I think it was a win-win for both of us.
And you were saying your bees, you'd say about 10 days behind?
I think so, because you are definitely on a nectar flow, whereas I am not specifically. We have some coming in, but nothing to the magnitude that you did. Because like you said, when you put those third deeps on some of those colonies just to give them room, in 10 days time, every comb, maybe not drawn out 100%, but for the most part, they were drawn out. And the queen had laid in some, and then they started to backfill. So it kept it out of the brood nest and I guarantee you doing that kept swarm cells out of those boxes and saved you a lot of time on the backside on trying to swarm manage, on the, again, on the backside of doing that.
Yeah, that really helped. And, that was a good strategy, but I scrambled to have enough boxes to do that. So that's something I'm always struggling with in the spring, is making sure I have enough equipment for that brief surge. Sometimes you're making your colonies bigger. Sometimes you need a ton of frames to make a ton of splits, and that's where I'm at right now. I just ordered 50 more frames just to try to hold myself over, but I'm running out of frames quick too. Yeah. I set up some colonies to move out of my backyard. I overwinter a bunch of small colonies in my backyard, so I moved them over into just a single 8 frame and then left a couple of frames for them to raise a queen off of. But then I'll move it out tomorrow. Tomorrow's supposed to be colder. But that box is pretty packed, and they're going to need another box on it full of foundation to give them something to do really, really quick. So I'm going to move colonies out tomorrow and then start stacking them up on, I guess, on Monday.
Yeah.
That question there I've got up from Eric. Has anybody ever tried that before? Put the swarm back in the hive that they came out of and moving the new queen somewhere else?
I never have.
Excuse me.
I think I've heard people do it, but they always leave. They don't stay. Or maybe they do put them in another box and they still don't stay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Eric, give it a try. Let us know if it works.
Yeah.
It'll either work or it won't work.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Grayson.
Yep.
I know I stopped a swarm with a brick one time. I was running behind doing something, and all at once one of my hives started swarming. I just reached up on top of the top cover and grabbed a brick and put it in front of the entrance so they couldn't come out. So the ones that had already came out came back. It was like, what's up? Why aren't we flying out? But then I went back in and I split them the next day. But I popped the top and looked down through. I run screen inner covers, and after I put that brick over the entrance, the bees were just going crazy inside the hive. It was pretty funny. I didn't have time to mess with them at the moment.
Yeah. You should have had a little endoscope and put that bugger in there and see what they were doing.
Yeah, there was probably a pile behind the entrance on the inside.
Yeah. This year, you guys already sound. I mean, pretty much everybody is busy, other than up here. So
I'm still feeding, and I'm kind of waiting for the weather to settle up.
Yeah,
it'll hit you, Brian. It's gonna come in like a lion, buddy.
I do have one hive out there. I think I need to equalize before they do swarm.
Yeah. Here
hey,
soon.
Brian, Zavada. So, question.
Yes.
Now that you made those splits, you gave those colonies some room. Generally speaking, and this might be a loaded question, but generally speaking, on the current trajectory that your bees are working on, how long will it be until you think you'll have to add supers to those production colonies?
Well, I want to go out to Aurora and put supers on as soon as possible, just because you saw what they were doing out there. And
Yeah.
I just want to catch whatever they're doing there. And I want to give them a space to do that, so they're not putting it in their too deeps. Right. So that's what I want to do. Now I've got a couple of other yards to get to first that I haven't pulled splits off of, that are probably pretty close to swarming at this point. So I should probably hit those first. But that's all next week. We have tomorrow's a cool day, so I'm going to move some colonies tomorrow. And then this weekend I won't be able to do stuff till Sunday afternoon, and then Monday should be good all week. So that's all week. That's what I'm doing. Moving colonies out of my yard. And then you saw what I did, made splits in one yard and then put it in the truck and moved it to another yard. I do the same with my small yards, just 4 or 5 here and there. But the backyard's getting pretty full. I just had the neighbors put their house up for sale, so I'm going to try to lay a little bit in the backyard for the spring. So that's why I'm trying to let me get some of these colonies out as soon as possible, and I'm going to try to lay low and be a little bit discreet this spring. So
sure. So Brian, maybe for anybody who is new in the crowd or is not an experienced beekeeper, what is the advantage to moving the colonies to a new yard after splitting?
Well, I see 2 of them. One is that you're keeping all the bees in that box. You can make a split to that same location, but some of those bees are going to fly back to the original location. Now you can account for that. So that's something you can solve by shaking more bees into it, or, doing another thing I might do is move the queen away and leave a colony to raise the split there. If she's getting ready to split, that's another way I can do it. But the other thing I like about it is the genetic diversity, because there's drones going from that nuke to my other yard from that, you know what I mean? So I'm constantly pushing drones all over the place in those splits. So it's kind of mixing up my genetics from yard to yard.
Yeah. One thing that I was kind of, when I mentioned this to you when I was out there, I am looking around at the landscape that's around Colorado and where your bees are at. And the color that I see the most is brown.
Yeah, now.
I'm looking in the colonies, and all I see is wet nectar. And I'm asking you, and I'm like, Brian, help me make this make sense. Where are they finding this nectar in copious amounts to backfill the brood nest? And he's like, I don't know, but they're finding it. And I'm like, they absolutely are. So this was kind of eye-opening for me. Whereas I'm looking at a landscape for miles, and all I see is mainly the color brown, and they're bringing in copious amounts of nectar. And I'm like, if I was a guy who was, traveling across the country and I'm looking at spots to put bees, I'm going, nope, definitely not here, because all I see is brown for miles. I would be missing the boat, because I'm telling you, Brian, you have a lot more nectar coming into your colonies right now than I do mine. And, you and I have talked about this. Our climates from the Denver area, not high elevations in the mountains, but the Denver area is somewhat similar to what St. Louis experiences. Obviously, the humidity is one of the main things, their main differences. We have a lot of it. You have virtually none. But it just blows me away how much nectar bees can bring back. When you don't think something's there, or you don't realize something's there, it's out there.
Yeah. And I'll also say this is a very anomalous year for us. We had a very, very, very warm winter. We have the earliest swarms I've ever seen by like 2 weeks. So yes, everything is brown, and we do typically have a period where that greens up. But I totally get what you're saying, what you saw. More at the solar farm than the Morrison yard. And you can see in suburbia how there was enough flowering trees, how you could see they're getting something from somewhere. But there's a lot coming in right now, and it's never been this hard this early for us. So it's definitely been a little different for us this year, for sure. So typically I would typically this is the normal time where I'm moving my colonies out of my backyard to start moving splits into my backyard from out yards. But it's been so out of whack that some of the places that I was moving colonies to weren't ready yet. So I've been holding back on that. So that's put me back a little bit too. But finally they got ready and I'm going to start moving them. I had that one that I'm going to be able to put like 10 to 15 at, that he's not going to be ready till like April 15th, which normally would have been no problem. This year, however, I'm like, I could probably move like 5 more, 10 more colonies tomorrow if I had the time to do it. So
yeah, definitely.
It's been a little bit off this year, but plants adapt to this environment too. So you'll see in May and June that it does green up, but I wouldn't say we get a super strong flow. We get a fair flow, but we only get one flow as well, and then it's done. We don't get that secondary one. So I'm happy if I get 2 to 3 supers per production colony, and that's 8 frame super. So that's what, 60 to 80, 90 pounds for my best colonies. And that's with me pulling out. I don't know what I'm doing with pulling out frames, but I know I've got 3 colonies, 3 supers on my colonies for my best colonies for that summer. So we get pretty good honey. And, you've seen the honey that I've produced. We get a fair amount. And I also think it helps that I spread my colonies out. You saw my 2 biggest yards. That and my backyard are where I have my most bees. From there, it goes down to like a yard of 6, a yard of 4, a yard of 4, and then a couple of like 2s, which are killing me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good plan too, and that's something that folks should probably consider or think about. And that's part of that art part of beekeeping, whereas you may not know exactly. It's something that's learned over an average of maybe a few years. We've had colonies in some areas that I'm like, first year wasn't so good. And I'm like, let's see what the second year does. And actually second year did really well. So it may have to do with more of the splits I put in there or the colony strength, but it could be year over year. You can have weather patterns like at your Aurora yard compared to, one of the other ones where you'll have some nectar continuing to flow for a week, maybe a week and a half, where the other ones dry up. That's always a possibility too. So I think that needle is always moving just a little bit. But I also think, like you pointed out, there is a bit of a strategy there where you're trying to recognize how many colonies in an area is too much. I think Keith kind of does that too, and he builds copious amounts of honey every year. I think he said about 140 pound average or 130 pound average, Keith.
Yeah, that's what I had last year, about 140. Crazy.
I mean, that's just insane to me. I can't produce that. Now, if I was to keep just a couple of colonies in a yard and probably manage them like on the verge of swarming, but not swarming, or even maybe try the Demarais method or something, I could probably get that. But as a whole, my management times would go way up, and I just don't know for me trying to do that in my area if it would be worth the shake. There's everybody's only willing to put forth X amount of effort to get the desired amount. And again, like I said, I'm sure that needle probably moves a little bit around there, but you probably have a little bit maybe longer nectar flows than we do. I would say average for us is generally somewhere about the April 15th timeline to, I'm going to say roughly June 15th is a main window. There's some before that, some after that, but that was what I would consider the main window for us. And yes, we can potentially see a fall flow if we have enough rain, but I haven't seen much of that in a few years. Just basically enough to help, keep the feeding down just a little bit is kind of what I look for. But yeah, 140 pounds a hive. That's you're doing something right. You cannot produce 140 pounds a colony with weak bees. That's not possible.
Yeah, well, I mean, keeping, you kind of nailed it there. Some of the stuff I do, I've talked about it before. You couldn't do it on a larger scale. Some of the stuff I do as far as inspecting the hives every, Lord, 4 or 5 days this time of year. to keep them from swarming, so I can keep those big fat hives, and have them ready when the poplars pop. So
Yeah.
but you couldn't do that if you had a whole bunch of hives. So but yeah, and that was just last year. We'll see what happens this year.
Well,
Last
hopefully
year
it's
Keith, what's your requeening strategy?
terrible. I've never really requeened a hive. I've always just let the hives take care of the queens, and I do all walk away splits. So I haven't bought any queens or bees in, I don't know, I guess it's been 6 years now. So so yeah, I'm not the guy to go to for a queen strategy.
What was your strategy, Brian? If I may ask you guys, how was you split? What did you do with your splits? Did you have cells with them? Did you have mated queens? Did you have virgin queens, or did you let them make their own queens?
All of the above, but mostly for me, I'm just making little splits, usually from swarm cells, but even just splits and letting them make their own queens. And then like Tom saw a couple of green queens in my apiary. If a queen is going to slow down, I'll replace her with a nuke that's probably like an overwinter. Like if I have a colony right now that I evaluate, that queen's going nowhere. That colony will that queen will get replaced with a 5-frame nuke of one of my overwintered queens that I raised last summer. So I'm always making queens every year, and I'm always requeening colonies when they need them. And if a colony gets to the point where it looks like that colony is going to swarm, I'll pull that queen in a nuke and let that mother site raise new queens off of their queen cells. So it's not like I'm requeening every colony with the queen cell from such and such queen breeder every year. I'm just constantly trying to regenerate my queens kind of organically.
Have you ever caged them queens inside the hive when you think she's going to swarm? You ever tried that?
I've caught swarms and had the queen caged, and that swarm has tried to swarm. Like I brought one swarm to my backyard and it tried to leave like 5 times, but it couldn't because I had the queen inside of a little cage. Yeah, I've done that.
So you've requeened, or you pulled an old queen out, pinched her, and put let's say a 4-frame nuke in with a fresh queen. Have you had any downturns of that? Because that's my game plan for this coming year.
No, for me that works great. Yeah, I mean the smaller the colony.
I read, or I got that GM Doolittle book.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I've been reading up on that, and I'm like, this is the way to go. I'm gonna put myself 3 or 4 frame nuke, 18 nukes out here. Raise my own queens, let them get going for a month, and then I'm just gonna pull it out, put a new one in, put a whole new set of frames in with a queen.
Sure.
So
I need to work on here very soon. I need to get some bees over in that defender setup. I want to, what I'm going to end up doing, and like, there's so many different things you can do with that darn thing. Michael was going through a little bit of what he was going to do, but I'm going to do what he suggested. I'm going to get a colony on one side, just a smaller one, and leave the divider, open. That way they can go over, and then I'm going to have 2 of the chambers with the, smaller frames, so they could start working on those frames to build those buggers out. That way, I can eventually throw cells and things over there. But yeah, I'll start playing around with queens a little more.
Yeah, the only problem with I got to look at that defender. I've got one here, and I'm all mediums, and that's the problem. All that darn, they're all deeps.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I still play with it, still use it.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can spray paint right on the front of it. The Legends Queens.
Whatever.
It'd be a new line. You know, like Gold West, there could be legend queens.
Yeah.
See? Saskatraz, who wants those? I want
I think
legend.
he needs to get a stencil and spray paint the legend on his queens.
Exactly.
That's what needs to happen.
No,
You guys, I'm thinking about.
I'll just sprinkle a little bit of sawdust on there.
That's for grit, right?
With
No,
like a fluorescing paint, so that way when you hit them with like a black light, his queens, it'll say legend right down their backside.
You know, there was somebody on here, I forget who it was, and I would like to be able to do it. Is in order to paint the queen with a color, but it's got also metallic, so you could use a wand metal detector to find her.
What?
Yeah,
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, they put a little bit of
heard that either.
like a little bit of a piece of metal chip, like tensile or something that's got metal, you know, that the detector can find. And all you got to do is wand the hive. Oh, there she is. She's on this frame here someplace. Of course, yeah, that's as long as you're using all plastic frames.
You know, I know one better. I got one better for you, Charlie. You can just get like some type of like, I'm sure you could order it from somewhere overseas. Get some radioactive like liquid, and you could just dip the queen's backside down in there, and then you could get like a little Geiger counter and just tick 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 tick. Pull up a frame and it'll be like tick 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 tick. Oh,
or get some of that. What was the stuff that they put on watches back then? Now it's radioactive. The green, you know,
it would glow in the dark. The queen would glow.
The green would glow in the dark on your hands, on your watch.
Radium.
Radium or tritium?
Radium?
Is that tritium?
They called them the radium girls, the ones that worked around the stuff that died horribly. So, radium, David.
I'm only asking because I have tritium sights on some of my guns. Maybe the tritium is a name brand. Not.
Yeah. I don't know.
Look that up.
Well, there's also like Clay's. He's an antique guy. There is a uranium glass, which is kind of green and it glows in the dark.
Yeah. That's what you need to do. Yep. How much is a Geiger counter?
I don't know. You probably get one from Vivor.
Yeah,
you get one for Vivor for $5.
I'm not sure. Would you want one of those from China? I mean, I feel like that would not be good. I mean, just think about that for a minute. I'm pretty sure they don't like us that much, honestly. But you know,
yeah, you could probably get one from like Chernobyl Supply Company.
You could probably walk through that place and then make your own, huh?
Just ship your queens over there. Tell them, say, can you leave my queens out for 1 week and then send them back?
Yep. That's right. Done.
You're good.
You have glow in the dark honey.
Yes. Yeah. That'd be $30 a pound. Oh, you got hot honey? It's not as hot as mine.
Different hot.
So I think that tritium is actually a gas. So it's radioactive tritium. I'm just looking up to see what this is exactly. Tritium. So tritium, I believe, is a gas. That's what I'm understanding here.
I'm not sure.
It's radioactive gas. So I don't know how that works exactly, but
tritium.
Yeah, you don't have any glow in the dark sights on your pew-pews?
On my one, it's in the glass, but it's got a little, it's got a it's battery powered.
It's like a hologram.
Yeah. Click a little thing and it's either green or it's red.
Mm-hmm. The little reticle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the earlier ones they used to make were mostly red, but then they came out at some point in time and said that green shows up much better in daylight conditions. So if you can buy each one, but when you buy a green one over a red one, you will spend more money. We have a couple of lasers that we use out on the job site for setting walls or things like that. And recently I had switched some of those from what was originally red lasers to green, and you can see them a little bit more, a little bit easier. So not that has anything to do with bees, but
are they better seen in the sunlight?
That's correct. Yes. They show up better.
Yeah. We got res lasers up there. You get any sun, you can't hardly see them.
Yep. Go to green. But again, you will spend more money on the same laser for laser. You'll spend more money on a green.
Huh. I forget how much the glass that I put on my bigger pew. I mean, the glass was about as much as the actual pew itself.
Mm-hmm. Most of the time that is.
Yeah. But they said that it would reach out to, they said I could take it out to like 1,000 and it would be fine. So I'm like, not like I'd ever be able to do that, but
in that case, you need to go with a brand called Trigicon or Trigicon.
Well, this one here, it's pretty, it's pretty decent, but like the only problem around here is there's a place, oh gosh, what the heck is it called? It was in that one, Tom Cruise movie. The heck is that place where it goes out to like 1,000?
Tom Cruise movie, meaning like Mission Impossible movie?
No. Is it Thunder Valley, Travis?
Oh, that's what Travis is saying.
There's a place near me where it's military reacher. There's a place, it's kind of close to me. It's half hour or so away that goes out to like 500 or whatever, 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem there is there's military crews that will go through there, and then a lot of SWAT and stuff, they go through there. So like it's only open to the public. Like you have to check on a schedule and see, okay, if they're going to be open. There's another place that's kind of close to me but they only go to like 3. Mm-hmm. So it's like if you really want to do a lot of stuff, like I got to drive like 2 hours or so, and it's just I don't have time to do it.
Travis is asking if it's Camp Perry.
The one that's kind of close to me, no, it's in Southington, Travis. It's Southington something. Southington. Let me see here. Is it Southington Hunt? Southington something. Yeah, Southington Hunt Club, and it's a training facility. Oh, cool. Southington Hunt and Training Facility. And that's the issue with it, is with being a training facility, it's booked up a lot of times for training. So a buddy of mine went there one time, and I was busy and I couldn't go. And he said they were running like exercises through, and it was kind of open. They weren't allowing you to shoot, but you could kind of you could watch stuff. And he was like, Brian, he was just blown away with all this. I'm like, I would enjoy just watching some of that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be neat. Pick up some pointers, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But for marking queens, right, from 300 yards.
I still like the idea of you using the the glow in the dark stuff. So I mean, all you have to do is just barely crack the top and peek in there and look for the glow.
Oh, yeah.
You look for the glow, and it's like, oh, I think she's on bottom box frame 2.
But if you think about it, though, so get like a black light, and if you open them up at night, they're not going to be flying around buzzing at you. They're going to be creepy crawling your legs.
That's right.
You could just look down through the frames, and that frame there's glowing. There she is.
Mm-hmm. We're coming up with a marketing strategy for Charlie here with his legend queens, the glow in the dark legend queens. Get on that list, Sawmill 10 get you there.
Sawmill 10.
Top of the list.
That's almost like tapping your ruby slippers together. You say Sawmill 10 and poof, here's Charlie.
Hey, we did say it earlier, didn't we? And he did show up. So
yeah. I like it. Yeah.
Keith, I apologize. Me and Brian, we kind of took this thing south. So what do we have to do to get this thing back on track?
Oh yeah, bee chats never go south. This is very unusual.
If you want to talk about beekeeping, you got to talk to the other Brian with a Y. When you're dealing with Brian with an I, there's lots of squirrel moments.
That's right. It happens.
So,
and you took me down that squirrel moment, and I followed. So
yeah. See,
that was fun,
it's
though.
like bait. Yeah.
Let's go back to the other Brian with the Y. Maybe he can get us back on track.
They're dead.
Beat, man. I worked all day. I'm tired. Yeah.
I think Brian Zavada, I think they're gadget freaks, don't you?
I'm guilty as charged as well. I can't say anything about that one. I like a good gadget or two.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's actually one of my goals this year is to try to pinch pennies and not spend and not because I think it's going to be a little bit tight this year. So that extra spending kind of stuff I'm trying to not do. So I'm resisting the urge to buy the gadgets this year because those are often I could probably do without it kind of things. But I'm definitely anticipating this year is going to be a little tight, higher expenses, stuff with gasoline, stuff like that. So trying to be a little wise.
I agree with everything you just said, Brian. I do believe that definitely for the foreseeable future, our expenses, especially in the vehicles, are going to be higher for a period of time anyway. Not to mention all the other products and stuff that have to go up and increase just to stay profitable in business. And then, like you said, we could experience the potential for, lesser in the sales department, depending on what you're selling and where you're at. So we're kind of doing the same. We don't have slated for a bunch of growth, not in our bee operation as far as like equipment and things of that nature, but with what we're trying to produce, we have growth there. But we're going to kind of settle in, like you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I tell you, you have to be in beekeeping 2026. Proactive is a very key word. You have to be proactive. You have to have a lot of thought into the plan for the season. And you just got to stay ahead of everything.
Melissa and I were just talking about that here this afternoon, as a matter of fact, how we're going to move bees to what yard, to where we're going. And she made a couple of suggestions, and I'm like, I made a couple. Of course. Her and I you heard her in the background. She's back there working on the computer. So I'm like, no, I don't want to do it that way. I'm like, I'm trying to keep $4 a gallon gas, as much in the truck that gets 10 to 12 miles per gallon in there as long as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be organized.
And she's trying to be organized.
Right.
Quote unquote.
Is something must be wrong with my audio, because every once in a while Tom will pause, and when he pauses, I hear from the background, all I hear is wah, 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 wah. There it goes again.
Brian, you're lucky you live far away.
That's so weird.
Do you hear that?
Is your audio okay? Because it just sounds so funny.
I'm going to make some adjustments here and check on some things. It might be something a little off, I think.
Right. Yeah. I don't know what it is.
I'm gonna get it figured out.
I tell you, you know what? for me, only keeping bees in one yard, that's just, I had bees in 2 locations before, and
That's a pain.
it is a huge pain. And folks don't understand like everything that's involved in it. It's even like me, I had 2 colonies next door out here. Well, there were times when, I remember the one that was really producing the one year, and I was not prepped for it. I had a certain number of boxes, and I'm like, okay, this'll be good, not thinking, well, let me just bring extra. And then it's like I'm going through and you look at things and you're like, well, darn it, I need to drive back and get more boxes. And then you're driving 20 minutes, grabbing a box or 2, driving back.
Or you take a half an hour to pack your truck up, go there, don't use hardly anything, come back a half an hour to unpack.
Yeah. Yep. So you have no idea how thankful I am that all of mine are just in one spot. Now, if they were in my backyard, I would be in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
But everything's over there. So
we're trying to do that strategically as well. I don't really want, except for the areas where we're going to make queens, I don't want a lot of overlap, or if there is, it's just would be potentially just a little bit of overlap.
Yeah.
Again, thinking about that more strategically, we got an opportunity for a yard that was a little bit further out. And Melissa and I went out there and looked at the property, talked to the homeowner. They have horses there. And I tried to explain. I said, hey, I don't want them too close to the horses. I don't have much experience with it. JW might be able to enlighten us in that regard. I've heard people talk about, when they're too close to cattle or too close to horses. I've heard some people say it's a problem. I've heard other people say it's not a problem. But the last thing, and I told them this, I said, I don't want to move 20 colonies in here, set them all up, and then have your spouse, call me back up in one evening or 2 and say, hey, it's winding up the horses on that side. I need them gone. And I'm like, that is not what I'm looking to do. And I'm like, I want full disclosure from everybody exactly what the potential risks are. I'm like, because then we can't bake some cakes without breaking a few eggs, and I'm like, that's kind of the way that sometimes the general public sees it. Everybody wants fresh fruits and everybody wants this, that, and the other. But the minute they find a honeybee colony in a neighborhood and they get all wound up about it and then just happen to start noticing more bees, when it's like, well, this is a problem. It's like, well, do you like your garden to produce those vegetables and fruits? Well, of course I do. Well, guess what? You have to have pollinators for that, And I'm like, unfortunately, for what you're trying to do here, the honeybee is the most prolific pollinator because of the size of the colonies, And so again, people want the cakes. They just don't want the eggs that are broken around it. So, it's just, I don't know. Everybody has an idea about something. So we're very cautious about where we put them, how we put them. And like Brian and I were mentioning earlier, how many do you put in a yard? What can your area sustain? We're getting good honey production, without too much competition. So and that's a big question mark, really. And it kind of depends on probably your different areas, times of the year, all that sort of stuff play into factor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Paramore answered your question, boys, on the cattle anyway, and the horses are worse.
Okay. So Larimore, do you have those fenced off specifically, or do they just open where the cows can get to them?
Who you talking about? Me?
Well, I'll take an answer from anybody.
You don't want to run them together, in my opinion.
Okay.
I've done both, but you're going to have some turned over hives. I'll guarantee you that.
Yeah.
Regardless.
He's suggesting the young calves get in there and start pushing on them a little bit and start flipping them over.
Yeah, horses are worse.
Okay.
Couldn't you just throw a little electric fence around them?
Yeah, you could.
As far as the bees laying in on the horses cows, I don't think work doesn't matter. Does it?
Electric fences won't stop them bees from crossing the fence line.
It won't.
Right.
No.
But I mean, it'll keep the young calves from messing with them.
Well, that's.
You're being sarcastic, aren't you, Erwin?
Well, I can be.
Yeah.
He is.
Agreed.
Yeah, he is.
So are you suggesting that a honeybee won't stop at an electric fence?
No, I don't stop them.
What about a
That's
barbed wire fence? Does it keep them back then?
They will if there's
That's interesting.
if they're covered with well, you know what I'm saying. Them.
Did JW? Did you have on your tinfoil hat when you were out there trying this?
I was out there stone cold naked.
Well,
well, folks, that's all we got for tonight.
yeah,
Thanks for tuning
I'm
in.
having
He's
connection
a great
issues.
host. See y'all next time.
That'll put a
That
stop
chat.
to
Somebody else wants to be a
me,
legend.
Brian or Keith.
So somebody else is going to take over the position of legend.
That's right. Yeah. Yep, something like that.
I don't want to know what JW's code is.
Dragonflies every place out here. I'm already seeing dragonflies. So if there's a dragonfly sitting on that barbed wire fence, they probably won't cross it.
Huh.
Yeah, we had Dirt Rooster over in the chat. Thanks for dropping by tonight, Randy.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Way to
Get
go,
some
Erwin.
rest.
Ran him out.
That's it.
Keith, do your market start soon?
Who, me?
Yeah. Do your
Yeah.
market
Oh,
start
yeah.
soon?
Yeah, the first market is May the 6th, I believe.
Oh, wow.
So that's the Moxville market, and then the local market starts the following Tuesday. So it'd be nice if I get some honey before then.
Yeah.
So Brian, how's the new creamer? Have you started
I
using
don't have it yet. I
Oh,
don't
you
have
don't?
it yet. I'll let you know. I blew. Did I tell you guys I blew the gearbox on my Lacin creamer, so I had to buy a new one, and I'm like halfway through replacing it. But that was like a $250 part. But let me tell you, man, that thing had paid for itself several times over. I think I just worked it. I worked it for 3 years straight, pretty much.
So did you buy just a whole new gearbox or what?
Yeah, just the gearbox. Yep.
I do have a serious question for Brian with the eye. What kind of a heated uncapper did you buy?
Hilco's unit.
Hilco John's. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious. Have you tried it at all? Probably haven't, have you?
No.
Okay.
I mean, in theory, I could, because I do have some frames over there that are capped. I could grab a couple frames and just, see how it works. I've got it over there. I've got it set up. If I don't do that, it'll be ending of June, first week of July when I use it.
Mm-hmm.
So
did John design that heated uncapper? Did he have like a 1.0 and a 2.0, or are they exactly the same from the beginning of production?
So I think it was the same, other than they updated some of the parts.
Okay.
When I was talking to, it wasn't John, it was one of his workers about the unit in Wisconsin. He was going through like the basically trials and errors. And he said, like, initially they had a lot of reporting to where the unit was not maintaining temperature.
Okay.
He said, of course, they had to update, the heating elements and all that type of stuff. He said as of now, he said you should be able to just let her rip.
Okay.
He said they're
Yeah,
pretty.
John Boxteagle, JL Apri is in the bottom there, said more heat. So that makes sense. So on the Lyson automatic uncapper I have, normally you should be able to run that at like 150, 160, where you're not tearing comb, you're slightly melting it as it passes, but it passes through very quickly.
Mm.
I'm trying to think what I set it on. I set ours higher than that. I want to say by 15 or 20 degrees or something like that. Because if you're running multiple frames through there, so ours uses a heater unit, and it's a closed loop system that uses propylene glycol, which is a food safe liquid material. I guess like a sugary material, I guess that would be. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody. But if you're passing frame after frame after frame through there in somewhat of a quick fashion, you will notice that it will slightly start cooling the blades down. So again, you don't want to get to the point where it tears. So having the heat just a little bit higher. But again, I know I've heard people mention before, well, is the heat causing an issue with the honey that's coming into contact with? And I would say the answer is no, because it passes through there so quickly.
So fast.
Yeah, it's not on there very long. It's like an instantaneous, push down through there within, I don't even know, a second.
It would be the same thing as a hot knife.
Yeah, basically the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. That uncapper I saw Larimore, it said, is that the uncapper with the rollers? Yeah. Each separate roller on that unit, though, also, they don't all spin together. Every one of them it's individual.
Okay.
So, if you do get some areas that are just, that they're not those perfect frames, each separate little roller, it's all individual.
Okay.
So I'll see how it works. I mean, even if there are a couple little quirks that I have to go through, it's still going to be faster than using an uncapping fork and that little, that planer that I have.
Oh yeah.
It's going to probably save me so much time.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Certainly. When Melissa and I first got started, we had purchased the Simple Harmony Farms roller uncapper, which is basically, it's the original. I don't want to say John copied the design. I have no idea how the whole thing came about, but same thing. Whereas what you're talking about, Brian, each one of the slicers are basically individually put on there.
Yep.
With the roller uncapper, to my best knowledge, and I never noticed anything different, I think it's one whole aluminum dowel piece that has been machined to have those knives in there, basically.
I still
and it works
use
well
one.
for us. JW?
It's solid. I still use one.
Okay, yeah.
That's Simple Harmony.
Basically, like the difference between the two, because I looked at them. That one, it was the solid, like the Simple Harmony in the frame that it's in. Bruce had one. He said they would just like ratchet strap it and that onto the unit, whatever they would use. The one that John has, there are actually mounting brackets. So, there's no straps, there's nothing. It's all fully adjustable. So, and they advertise it. He says they say it will fit any like of the traditional uncapping tanks that are out there. They say it will fit any uncapping tank.
I looked at them pretty severely. My question about them is the reason I was asking them, it was a Hilco. It was the springs and stuff. I think the cleanup's bad enough with those Simple Harmonies. I would think with those springs and stuff in there, that would really be a nightmare to get them cleaned up after the fact. That's just mine.
Yeah.
That's just my thought. I've never had one.
Late June, early July, I can let you know, JW.
Okay.
When I was cleaning mine up, JW, I was using, and again, the Simple Harmony Farms is fully manual. There's no electronic cords or anything like that you have to worry about moisture on it, things of that nature, much like what Brian will deal with or John here will deal with. Is I just used and I bought a cheap electric power washer, and that's how I cleaned stuff up.
Well, that's what I used to clean up mine. There's still a mess, but I've got a heated one, you know. I've got one of those Aladdins that's heated and a power washer.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's
You got a steam Jenny.
still a lot of work.
That's what we don't use a power washer on the Lyson uncapper. I'll use a hose and everything on the bottom half and clean it up. But the mechanism, the head itself, which does have 2 or 3 electric motors, I do put plastic bags over them and try to do a little bit of washing through there to get the heavy stuff off. Then I come back with it's basically a steam generator. It's like a semi heavy duty one that I bought. And I use that for blasting the rest of it off. The chains that drive it, and then the knives, all those areas, and I try to clean it up and make it look like it's brand new again. And it works.
I wonder, like, I'm going to have to reach out and see what the suggested method is for cleanup, because I wonder if there's any wax that's in there. I mean, I wonder if I could take a little heat gun and just zap it with a little heat and just let the wax drip out.
Certainly, I'm sure you could.
You know,
and leaving a little bit of melted wax on the thing is not a big deal, right? I mean, it doesn't hurt anything.
I can't imagine that's going to hurt anything. And they say that because of the nature of how it's supposed to work, how they're individual rollers, it's heated. They say that you don't get as much of a mess. Now, the rollers, it's all adjustable, so that'll be one of the keys there. Like if I get it just set right,
okay,
right thickness, and it's not really like digging much in. I mean, that'll be the key as well. Just getting that initial adjustment done. Once it's adjusted, I would imagine it should be a smooth process. But
yeah, John Box Eagle up here had suggested that when it would cool down, they would start tearing the wax. And that's kind of what, and JW, I'm just curious to know what your thought is here. I know mine was, or my experience with it was, that's kind of what the Simple Harmony Farms, the manual version that is unheated, would kind of do. Is you're basically just slicing the cappings, but in the sorts, you're kind of ripping them too, because when you go in and out of there and it kind of starts to gum up, which is what happens, it'll kind of start ripping them off there. So it worked. It was a quick way to get it done. I will say the one thing I did not like about that is it would leave a bunch of like the little tags, or if you were going to say hanging shad, right, on the frames itself. So when you would sling it out, some of those would sling to the inside of the centrifuge, and then you would have to kind of like filter that, which I'm telling you, the minute that we got away from actually filtering honey, life became so much more enjoyable, because it wasn't like watching paint dry on a wall. It is, when you use those little screens, there's a little sieves. Oh my gosh, it is painful for me to sit there and try to get this stuff. You're running like 6 or 8 different ones in multiple buckets. Oh my gosh, it was horrible. And that's why Melissa and I are like, you know what? I'm like, we've got to make a change. I cannot do this anymore. We need to speed this process up. And how do we do that? I'm telling you, settling honey in a bucket, in a barrel, anything like that. You can pull some of the heavy stuff off by doing some light straining, but just give it time. Like, let it sit for a day or 2 in a bucket and skim the tops. I'm telling you, you don't need to go through all these sieves that are just make your life absolutely horrible. So food for thought. If anybody's looking for a simple way to do it, I sold off almost all of my filters and sieves, and it was awesome.
But you also have a clarifier too.
Correct. And that'll get the bulk of it. That'll get the worst of it.
Gets the bulk of it.
If I was not going to use the clarifier
operation.
What's that?
Tell the folks the downside of that part of the story.
Using that clarifier?
No, like that the cost of that extractor that you're using.
Oh, if you're going to use a knife style of uncapper that's automated, yeah, you'll spend money on it. I don't know what the price of that piece is up to now, but it's probably I don't know. I'm guessing 7,000, maybe 8,000. I don't.
9 or 10. I don't know. And I know.
I would say the biggest thing about the clarifier is you got to have the volume of honey
Yes,
in order to fill that thing up, because it's going to take, what, 25 gallons?
correct. Each one of them is a little different based upon the manufacturer, but yes.
You got to have the volume in order for it to get that thing to work right.
Yes.
Thorns is 25 gallon, but I'm sure a guy could. I mean, you could make one of those. You don't have to make. You can make it where 5 gallons and fill it.
Mm-hmm.
Or when you'd have to do some fabricating on your own. But I think I could build one where you could fill it with 3 gallons of honey. You know.
Yeah. So Be Kind Apiary, that the separator clarifier tank that Mike Berry has, that's John Hill's version. And actually he's had a slightly updated version of that too, just more recently. What's funny is when he had those out, nobody had a lot of experience with it. And I'd ask a lot of questions and I wouldn't get a lot of answers, but I kind of asked questions about other clarifiers and got a better understanding. So we bought it and it works. I would just tell somebody, if you don't have, like Charlie said, the volume to run through a clarifier, which it does take volume, then I would suggest settling it out in a 5-gallon bucket or I don't know, depending on how much you have. Maybe it's a 3-gallon bucket if that's all you produce. Settle it out in there and then skim the top. You can get like on Amazon, it's like a fryer with a screen thing on it. You can kind of, skim them off that way and then put it in something. And I let the bees just have the cappings and clean it out and rob it out. And then you can come back. I think JW has done this before. You put a piece of saran wrap on when you got that little bit of foam on top, just lightly let the tension hit that saran wrap on the top of that. And as you're doing it, give it a twist and then pull it out. You won't get 100%, but you'll get, a vast majority. So I don't know. It helps. It really does. I just wish someone would have told me all this information when we were kind of moving along. It could have saved me a lot of time of banging my head against a wall. So,
well, gentlemen, I'm going to have to close this thing out. We've been at it almost 2.5 hours. So, folks in the chat, I do appreciate y'all stopping by. We'll be here again next week for the Thursday night bee chat. Mm-hmm. Gentlemen on that popped in the chat, I do appreciate y'all popping in. It's been a interesting and all over the place conversation.
Brian with an I's fault.
Yeah, we were staying on topic very good until Brian with an I showed up.
Or Sawmill 10.
Sawmill 10.
Yeah, let's give Sawmill 10 a little credit.
Well, folks, y'all have a good week and a good Easter weekend. And we will see you back next week.
Or tomorrow night at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Or tomorrow night at Charlie's place. There you go.
Sawmill 10 and pop on in.
I'm sure we'll all be there.
Sawmill 10, top on in, get 10% on any Hive Alive product.
Good night, everybody.
See y'all.
Good night, y'all.
See you.